light of these charges against John Ashe, Frank Lorenzo, and others, increasingly it's emerging that the Secretary General, if not met, had staged photo opportunities with a number of the individuals charged. And I wanted to know, in looking at this, do you have some kind of a comment on how these occurred, particularly in instances where they may have been arranged by a third party, being arranged by an organization that invited Ban Ki-moon and then received funds from South South News or others, and then put the two together on a photograph? Was that appropriate, and what would be your response to OIOS looking at that, or otherwise?
Well, regarding that, as you're aware, the Office of Internal Oversight Services will do an audit. They've been requested to do that. And so we'll be able to see whether there was any effect from either the relationship with these various groups, these two groups, the Sun Kyan IP group and the Global Sustainability Foundation, and any of the monies received. So we'll await what they have to say about any of this.
But I guess I want to ask again, given that Mr. Frank Lorenzo has been charged, and he's now out on $2 million bails. He was the head of South South News, which spread $12 million, according to the documents, throughout the UN system. So what was the criteria used to choose these two NGOs and not either South South News or International Organization for Sustainable, for South South Cooperation, or Steering Committee on Sustainable Development? It seems like it's a very limited inquiry, and
it's not really an inquiry; it's an audit, and this is an initial step. If OIOS feels like there's something, there's a direction in which they need to go as a result of these initial results, they're certainly free to do that. But we needed to get the ball rolling and have an initial step forward so that we can look into what exactly is the impact of the monies and the relationship with these groups. Yeah.
Great. Yeah, this is the one. It may seem. Last week I was asking Stefan about the sort of overlap between the teams of recent presidents of the General Assembly, John Ashe, Sam Kutesha, and Mogens Likhatov, and it was based off the website used to have a link to the teams of each ex-PGA, and I noticed that the one for Sam Kutesha is now gone, and now goes directly to Mr. Likhatov's site. There's no longer a link on this list of previous presidents to his team. So I've asked them, so I know you can say asking them, I haven't gotten an answer. I wanted to know from your side, maybe you can find out, what is the role of the Secretariat and DPI in maintaining the website, and who is it that could have changed the link for Sam Kutesha from a link to his actual team to basically just a blind one to the PGA site currently?
Well, I'm aware that we provide some technical support, but ultimately the content of those sites is provided by the Office of the President of the General Assembly. So we would get that from the President of the General Assembly. And consequently, as you had expected, you would need to ask the spokesperson for the President of the General Assembly about that.
Would you be concerned if access to information about this chain of PGAs, suddenly changed in the midst of or days after the criminal charges were filed?
Well, we certainly trust and expect all of our delegations, all of our offices, to maintain transparency at all times. Regarding the content that they put out, of course, how they put it out, that's up to them. Yes.
Sure. I wanted to just get your comment on a couple of things. One was in the General Assembly session in which Ms. Mendoza was confirmed as OIOS. Sweden, speaking for the Nordic group, made reference to a problems with OIOS and how it's viewed, the perception of OIOS in connection with the Central African Republic rape allegations. And I just wondered, did the Secretariat note that? Do they agree that that this was something of a problem for OIOS, and how do they intend to address it?
Well, you know how we intend to address it. The Secretary General named a panel headed by Judge Marie Deschamps to deal with the question of how we've handled the issue of the Central African Republic. We expect them to report back to us early next month, and hopefully we'll be able to get some guidance on what worked well and what didn't work well.
And I wanted to ask just as kind of a structural question. I understand that the Secretary General can waive immunity for UN personnel. And I'm thinking particularly if you read the U.S. Attorney document, it talks about a UN official one that changed the document at issue in that case revised the letter from John Ashe to Ban Ki-moon to include the name of a company. So I wanted to know if it's true. One, I mean, obviously more things have to develop. Could the Secretary General waive immunity in a case like that? And number two, who controls the immunity of a PGA? If a PGA is not under the Secretariat, who would it be that could, if appropriate, waive immunity for such a person?
Well, I'm not going to engage in speculative questions. The bottom line for us is that we stand ready to cooperate if requested to do so by the U.S. authorities. As of just before this briefing, we still have not received any such request. Have a good afternoon, everyone.
Hey,